All right, so I mean, we kind of get it, guys. There's so many things that are attractive about living in Denver, but at the same time, maybe you don't want to live in the heart of Denver. Maybe the congestion and the population growth and all that's happening in Denver, you want to be a little bit outside of that, right? And so that's why we're really diving into this series, starting with this city right here.
Yeah, we've actually talked about being in the middle, not living in Denver, not living in Fort Collins. So we're actually going to go right in the middle today, and we're going to be talking about the different areas to live north of Denver, starting with Firestone, Colorado.
All right, let's go. Welcome back to the channel. You're watching Living in Denver with your Colorado real estate family, Pete and Chelsea Sweeney. And in this channel, we like to really cover Denver and all the surrounding cities. If you're looking at moving to the area, we want to give you as much information as possible. That way you can make an informed decision. On the other side of things, we love making these videos, but even more, we love helping you with your real estate needs. So if you are moving into the Colorado area or in and around the Colorado area, love to help you out. Licensed real estate agent, helping you guys with all your real estate.
Yeah, guys, and if it's your first time here to the channel, please give us a thumbs up. We are going to be talking about living north of Denver in like a couple different cities surrounding that. And so you're going to want to subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell because we're putting out 2 videos a week now. We also will put our phone number down below. It goes straight to Peter and myself, so feel free to call us if you have any questions or any of your real estate needs. We are here for you.
Yeah, guys, you're not going to get no VA. You're not going to get anyone that's outside of us. So if you're calling that number, you're getting us directly or texting us, and it's most likely going to be Chelsea. So
that's true.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and check out Firestone from the sky's view and all around, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so here's the first thing you guys really want to know in regards to Firestone is it is a part of like 2 other cities, so Firestone, Frederick, and Dacono. They're part of the Carbon Valley, and what they were is a huge coal mining area, and so they're all kind of, it's weird, they're all separate cities, but they're also kind of put together because of the Carbon Valley. They have their own recreation district and such, and so this is pretty much the northernmost part of that whole valley, or that whole Carbon Valley-ness, whatever it is.
Yeah, so and just to kind of give you an idea of where we are, we always compare where we are in comparison to Denver, because we want you to know that we're going to cover all the surrounding cities so that you know if you're not really looking to be in Denver, what other options do you have? So in comparison to where we are from Denver, you actually just shoot straight up I-25 and you're going to be smack dab in the middle between Denver and Fort Collins. So it's 40 minutes to Denver and about 40 minutes to Fort Collins. So when we talk about, you know, why choose one over the other, end up in the middle, this is really in the middle. But because of that, it's still up and coming.
Well, yeah, and so this series that we're kind of doing right now, we're really going to be focusing on cities that are pretty much directly off I-25, because guess what? You have interest in Denver. That's a big reason why you're watching this channel right now, right? We don't want to get you too far off track to the point where it's like, okay, that's great that it's outside Denver, but then it's also way off the highway. It's going to take me forever. Right. Say you're working in Denver, and so we really want to make sure it's convenient as much as possible, kind of bringing these cities and such. So, yeah.
And the other thing, too, about some of these cities that we're going to be covering, again, we're going to dive into Firestone today, but just kind of keep in mind some of the things that we're going to be talking about is because mainly only locals know this, right? Moving into Denver, you're not going to hear much about Firestone.
Yeah.
So it's really...
We even looked it up, and the search was like almost nothing to it.
Yeah, there's a reason we're putting it into something.
Yeah, we had to get creative with our SEO so that you could find it when you're actually searching, north of Denver or something. So yeah, we're really trying to get you guys a little bit more known to this area, I guess.
Yeah, and this is going to be one of those places that isn't quite there yet. So if you're coming in and you're trying to buy a house, it is mainly residential here.
It is, yeah. It's maybe your suburbia.
Yeah, how big is it compared to Denver?
So the population is just over 17,000, where Denver was like 2.8 mil. And so it's
way smaller.
Yeah, this city, like literally, it's like agricultural, old school, coal mine country turned into the brand new suburbia. Yeah. And like they really don't even have like a central hub. as far as like if you're looking for like a little old town or something like that. They really don't have that here. They have like a central shopping center, but I mean, this literally was all agriculture, guys. It was all farmland, and now it's becoming super popular, you know, mainly residential. So.
Yeah, so a lot of the, just real quick to get an idea about what Firestone's all about, like why move to Firestone. It's super small. It doesn't feel like it's like a big city or anything like that, but you have brand new homes here.
Yeah.
All brand new homes, lots of builders coming out here. You know, the goal between Denver and Fort Collins is to close that gap. The corridor is going to be completely built on. So the good thing about buying in Firestone is you're super close to Longmont, Fort Collins, and Denver. Kind of really close to Longmont. We're directly east of Longmont on the east side of I-25, and just a quick direct drive straight down to Denver by Interstate 25. So it's something to keep an eye on, because the houses here, they're affordable. It's only going to increase in equity because it's going to become more popular. It's not going to seem so far in the near future.
Well, yeah, and so if you wait until the end of the video, I'm going to go over those numbers a little bit in regards to what, you know, the median sales prices in Firestone, and then how much it's grown over these last 12 months, because it's been pretty big. But I mean, here's the biggest thing, guys, is Denver is expanding exponentially, right? And so a lot of times what happens is a lot of people get pushed outwards, and that's what happened with Tacoma, Frederick, now Firestone. Yeah. Firestone's on the more northern edge of that, and so that's why it became so popular, is because people are like, listen, I want to buy a house for a little bit cheaper, but then still have a good commute down to Denver. Which is what's commute? You said like 40 minutes. So it's like a 40-minute drive down to Denver. Not bad. With traffic, of course, that's going to change, you know. Maybe you have a job, though, up in Fort Collins. It's a similar drive. You're not going to hit the same traffic that you would, though, going down into Denver. So it's really great kind of having a newer community, but then not having to deal with the same congestion that you would have in Denver, or the same big city feel. We actually had one of you guys reach out in regards to kind of being convinced that you'd rather have like this quiet lifestyle, but then you still have a job that's more downtown, right? And so it's kind of like a getaway. Like, say you live out here, it's like, okay, you're downtown, you're working down there all day long and all that stuff. It's like, all right, I'm ready to go back and relax, be somewhere a little bit more quiet. That's what the essence of Firestone really is.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be a forward-thinking kind of thing. You want a nice house, you want it to be affordable, you want it to grow in equity. That's what these places are going to do. It's going to eventually become more popular. Right now, it seems, especially to locals, that it's a little far from Denver still. Even though it's only 40 minutes, it seems a little far north. That's not going to be the case in the near future, so it's something that you really want to keep an eye on. Now, Peter was talking about not having a downtown. We are going to cover another city that's kind of part of all this, which is Frederick, and there is a little tiny little old town, downtown kind of feel that's only about 15 minutes away. So even though it doesn't have it here, it still has it close enough, which again, those little downtowns will increase prices having that kind of space, and so it might be good to only be 15 minutes away to that. And then how far are we from the mall?
Wait, which mall?
The
the outlet mall?
All the outlets.
Oh, the outlet mall, really like a 15-minute drive. So you have your Denver outlets, you know, we're probably like 15 minutes on a good day without, when you're not running into traffic.
And Orchard. And so again, you are completely, even though it doesn't seem like it when you're here, I mean, it's very quiet. You are really close to pretty much everything. Yeah, it's true. Well, in Saddleback Golf Course, which is one of my favorite golf courses. Amazing golf course here. They have the boards that you could ride, where it's a single guys, you can kind of mess around, and so. I found out that's award-winning.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's a great golf course. It's amazing golf course. Yeah, and we're
actually standing at the sports complex right now here because again, there's all these restaurants and things like that, but not really a downtown. But this place is actually pretty well known. They have a really great rec center here in Firestone. They have the sports complex, and then also the really cool thing about Firestone is they're already kind of anticipating this like community feel, and so they have a welcome website for everybody who moves into Firestone that you can go on, and it has pretty much everything that you need to know, whether it's like utility phone numbers to, like, you know, all the things you kind of need to know when you move in, like all the police and stuff like that. But it also has like businesses, jobs, it has things to do for kids. Like, it is a really nice thing to say, hey, welcome to the community. Even though it's quiet around here, we still treat it very much so like a community, and we want you to be involved. And so that's really cool. I think that's going to really set the culture as it starts to grow up here.
Well, and I think another thing too that we really need to highlight is I think that Firestone's growth is going to be limited. So if maybe you're concerned about the fact that Firestone might grow too big, there's one thing that Firestone kind of struggles with, and that's the water coming down from the mountains. You have the Big Thompson, which supplies pretty much this area with all your water rights. Those are super restricted. You know, we're not talking about the South Platte where you have a super large river kind of coming into Denver and stuff like that. It's a little bit smaller, and so water is a little bit harder to come by. And actually, like in the past, my business partner and I, when developing different communities in Firestone, that was a big thing. If you didn't own water, you weren't developing crap, because guess what? You can't develop without water. And so water's super restricted here. So if you're kind of concerned that it might grow too big, I don't think it's going to grow too big just because it does have that restriction.
Yeah. And then average household income, I looked it up for, it was the most recent was July 2021. So we always try to get you guys the most recent numbers. And it was $113,000 a year. So pretty affordable still up here. Again, we saw some like smaller, you know, more affordable houses, and we saw some really decent sized houses as well. So a lot of options.
Well, I'm going to tell you, like, I was actually just showing properties here a couple weeks ago, and it was, I was actually, it's amazing how large these houses are, because you're driving on the outside of them. When you're further closer, like I said, into the Denver metro area, it seems like the suburbia houses are a little bit smaller. These ones are so wide open. And a lot of the builders up here, I think they really took advantage of the fact that this is a wide open space. You kind of want your more wide open ranch style house. So a lot of the houses here are a lot more wide open. You will still have your typical, you know, cookie cutter style suburbia houses, but it's just, there's something about the houses here. It feels like they're all a little bit more open than most of the houses that you see.
And then if you're interested in the schools around here, St. Vrain Valley School District is the school district. It's actually rated a B+, so pretty decent.
Yeah, not bad.
And the main schools, it kind of consists of 4 schools, and then there's a couple other schools outside of the district and getting into kind of Weld County. But the 4 that they list under the St. Vrain that's graded at a B+ is Centennial Elementary, Prairie Ridge Elementary, Coleridge Middle, and Imagine Charter. So still like pretty decent amount of schools for being such a small area.
Well, and like, I mean, of course, you know, we're always going to cover schools because we approach our videos as families, but St. Vrain is really a large school district out of Longmont. And so it kind of like extends over into this area a little bit. And then there's also a part, because, you know, Firestone, Frederick, Tacona, when we're talking about these cities, are all in Weld County. Right. So it's a completely separate county, but at the same time, it has, you know, you get advantage of the St. Vrain School District. There is a part of it, it's what, Weld RE1 or something like that.
Yeah, RE1.
So there's another one, but I say majority of it is really St. Vrain. So it's really kind of something to keep in mind. So,
and then what about cost of living in comparison to?
So cost of living, so if you've ever watched our cost of living videos, go check them out. If you haven't, we always do a basis, right? So 100 is your national average. Firestone is a 123.2. Is that what it was? 123.9. And so it's a little bit higher. I think a big reason for that, obviously, is your real estate. Your real estate is a little bit higher up here in regards to, you know, your national average. So let's go and dive into the real estate. What are we looking at in regards to your median sales price of homes sold in Firestone? And we're looking at $515, right? What does that look like over the last 12 months? Now, here's something that I highly stress, because recently I've been talking with a few of you guys, talking about, you know, I wonder if I should rent first before I decide to buy. That way I really kind of figure out which area. Yeah. Listen, there's something good about that, right? Where you sit there and you want to come in, you want to rent and really figure out where you want to be. But you are going to suffer through that with the fact that Colorado's gained as much equity as it is. Firestone in itself has gained 17, almost 18% over the last 12 months in equity. That's huge.
That's big. And
Colorado always happened. Like I said, it's just your buying power goes down so much more. And so like I said, it's not about pushing you guys into purchasing as soon as you come here, But if you are going to rent, I want to make sure that I set that expectation that, guess what, house is going to be probably worth a little bit more if you're going to wait 6 months or even a year down the road. So something to think about.
We talk about this a lot. You know, it's hard to just kind of make a decision, which is why we do this videos. If you're moving in from out of state, we don't want you to have to take a guess. We want you to come in and know exactly what it looks like.
We want to educate you and give you as much as possible. So,
I mean, we're doing videos with a lot of our clients, like showing them not just houses, right, but showing them like, hey, can you show us this neighborhood a little bit? What does it look like? What's surrounding it? Because it's important to understand what you're coming into, and it's only going to grow here, and with growth comes increased prices. And so we want you to be able to get into a space that's going to be growing with you, and equity is going to be growing. We don't want you paying your landlord or paying for your landlord's equity. We want you to be gaining the equity. So we stress that a lot. We're also investors. We do have a little bit of that mindset of just, you know, trying to get in at a good time. And this place right now, and in between the places that we're going to be covering, these cities, it's a good time. You know, because it's just not quite there yet, but it's so close.
It's just like I say, it blows my mind how much this area has grown in the last 10 years, like 2010. Pretty much everything that you see behind us right now would have been field. You know, this would all been farmland. And so it's just crazy how much it's building, and it's going to keep on going. So that's why we wanted to bring the series, because you might not know. Like I said, you're looking to live in Denver. You don't know what that looks like. You don't know what you're going to be exposed to, what cities are surrounding, unless we're talking about, you know, the major ones, like, you know, Westminster, Arvada, Thornton, all those ones. There are different options, guys, and that's what we really want to expose you to.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of places, especially, I'll tell you, just you being, you know, doing the YouTube world, you're not going to find Firestone in a bunch of videos because only locals know about Firestone, right? And so it's not a big search thing. So we want to make sure that we educate you on the things that aren't as searchable, that are still really, really good options. So.
Yeah, it's all about preference. You know, some of you, like I said, might like that that skyscraper lifestyle where you're living in a condo. If you want a little bit more room, a little bit more quietness, somewhere, you know, a little bit better in our mindset to raise a family, Firestone might be an option for you for sure. So, but cool. All right, cool guys. Well, I think that ends this city right here. We got 2 more in the Carbon Valley, but I mean,
that's about it. If there's any other things that you want us to cover, please let us know. We're going to be taking a few weeks to kind of go around these surrounding cities north of Denver. So if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to follow along and find out about the cities that mainly only locals know about.
All right. Until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye.